After you started cooperating with law enforcement, what, if anything, did you start to do initially? Can you rephrase that, please? Sure. When you first made a decision to cooperate with law enforcement, what's one of the first things that you did? I started telling them the truth. About what? About what I knew about certain murders and what I knew about the gang. And what gang are we talking about? Goonie Gang. Okay, Goonie Gang, Goonie Boys, what's the difference? Basically, Goonie Boys, it's basically like I say, we was doing Goonie Boys. It was for my brother. He passed away. So we was Goonies. We was Goonies at first. When he passed away, we named it Goonie Boys because of him. We all looked up to him as a big brother. So that's what Goonie Boys was about. Goonie Gang was a whole different, we was terrorizing, we was shooting, we was bad. We was destroying the neighborhood. Were you a member of Goonie Boys or a member of Goonie Gang? I was a member of Goonie Boys, but I also ran with Goonie Gang. Did Goonie Boys members and Goonie Gang members strike that? Goonie Boys and Goonie Gang members, did they run together? Yes, sometimes. As part of your cooperation with law enforcement, have you occasionally been paid? Yes. And as part of being paid, what did you get? Do you get it in cash or a check? How do you get paid? I get cash. Do you report that on your taxes? Yes, I do. Okay. Also, as part of this case, you've been given immunity? Yes. What does that mean to you to be given immunity? Can you rephrase it, please? Sure. What does immunity means to you? Do you understand the question? Can you rephrase it in another? All right. Do you understand the question? Yes or no? No. 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 Keep your voice up. Rephrase the question. He doesn't understand. Yes, Your Honor. Have you been given immunity in this case? Yes, I was given immunity. What does that mean? As long as I tell the truth about what I know and what I participated in. What happens as long as you tell the truth about what you participated in? What happened? I don't get charged. What happens if you lie? I get charged. You mentioned earlier that some members talk about some stuff. Do you remember talking about that? Yes. I want to direct your attention to the night of the Loomis store shooting. Do you recall that? Yes. Where were you when you found out about the Loomis store shooting? I was by my brother's house in between 70th and May and 70th and Racine. What were you doing there? I was standing there. With whom? Alvin, my brother Alvin and Boosie. What, if anything, happened when you were standing there? Well, when we were standing there, keep your voice up. Okay, well, when we were standing there, we heard shots ringing off. And after the shots was ringing off, Romeo T and a female pulled up in a white SUV. And you said they pulled up? Where did they pull up? They pulled up in front of our brother building. What, if anything, happened after they pulled up? After they pulled up, T got out the car and he just told us that. Objection, foundation. Let me hear it at sidebar. Okay, counsel, pose a question. Thank you. You just said they told us. Who specifically told you what? I said T had. T got out the car and he told us that he just shot at Fat Cat and at the Loomis store. And Fat Cat, do you know who that individual is? Yes, I do. How do you know Fat Cat? That's my soon-to-be wife's brother. Do you know him in any other way? Yes. How else do you know him? We was into it. I like to show the witness and the jury what's already in evidence as Government Exhibit 1304. 1304 is an evidence you may publish. What's in front of you is Government Exhibit 1304. Do you see that? Yes. Who is that? Fat Cat. You said you were into it with Fat Cat. Was he a Goonie Boss member? No, he was in opposition. What opposition gang was he in? J-Town. Do you know an individual nicknamed T-Man? Yes. I like to show the witness Government Exhibit 1303, which is an evidence. 1303 is an evidence you may publish. What's in front of you is Government Exhibit 1303. Do you see that? Yes. And who is that? T-Man. Was T-Man in a gang? Yes. Was he in Goonie Gang? No. What was he a member of, if you know? Third Gang. What's the name of the gang? Third Gang. And you said Third Gang? Is that an opposition gang? Yes, they was clicked up with J-Town. And for those members of the jury that don't know, what does it mean to be clicked up with another gang? That means they were joined together as one. Is that similar to Goonie Gang? Yes. Now after T told you he just shot Fat Cat in them, where did you go? After that, we was there for a while by my brother crib. I think we went upstairs for a little bit. Then we walked on Aberdeen. Did you have another conversation with Terrence later that day? Yes, I believe. Can you tell the members of the jury what that conversation was about? Okay. So basically he had like a red book bag it was a Glock with the extended magazine in there and some camouflage pants that he used for the shooting. He had it in a book bag. He was walking around with it in his book bag, and basically he said Romeo dropped him off. He went through the cuts. He seen a car parked. He said he was standing there and pointed the gun at the car and just started shooting. And then he took off running and got back in the car with Romeo. And then that's when they came over to my brother's by his house. The information that Fat Cat had been shot, was that good news to the Goonies? Yes. Why? Because he was like one of their main shooters who was coming shooting at us. Now, you mentioned it a little bit. You said he's soon to be your brother-in-law? Yes. He was an opposition gang member. He's now about to be your brother-in-law? Yes. Was it the same back in 2014? Can you rephrase that question? Sure. Did you have a relationship with his sister back in 2014? Yes, I did. How does that work? Do you understand the question? Yes, sir. Okay, go ahead and answer. How did it work? Well, basically, my girl is his sister, and we basically ain't put her in the middle of it, and make her choose sides or nothing. So basically, me and him, our gangs, we were feuding. And at one point in time, he wanted to kill me, and I wanted to kill him. And that's what it was. Okay. Do you know a Goonie member named Man? Yes. Give me 1 second, Your Honor. I like to show Government Exhibit 2212, which is already in evidence. 2212 is in evidence. Go ahead, counsel. What's in front of you is Government Exhibit 2212. Do you see that? Yes. Who's that? Man. Was Man a member of Goonie Gang? Yes. What was Man Man's role in Goonie? Man, he basically was shooting at people. Did there come a time when you thought that Man was dead? Yes, at a point in time, yes. Let me take a couple of steps back on that. At some point, was Man arrested with a gun? Yes, he was. Let's talk about that a little bit. After Man got arrested with a gun, what, if anything, was the conversation amongst Goonies? Objection, Judge. Foundation. Sustained as to foundation. Sure. Did Goonies have any conversations about Man after he got arrested with the gun? Yes. What, if anything, was the conversation that Goonie had about Man? Objection, Judge. Sustained as to foundation. Did you have a conversation with Terrence Smith about Man? Yes. Let's talk about those conversations you had with Terrence Smith about Man. Was this before or after Man was shot? Before. So let's start with the conversation you had with him before. What was the substance of the conversation you had with Terrence Smith? Okay, basically Man had got caught with the gun from the murder of the Lumi store. So T was scared. He's saying that he think Man was going to tell on him. Did you actually go and visit Man? Yes, I did. Did you have a conversation with him? Yes, I did. And what was the purpose of your conversation with Man? Basically, the conversation, I was sent to fill Man out to try to see was he really cooperating with the police or not. And you said you went to fill him out. What does that mean? Judge, could we have some foundation as to when and where this conversation occurred? Lay a foundation for the specific conversation to the degree the witness knows. Sure. Where did you have this conversation with Man? You say, where did I have the conversation with Man? Where? It was in the hundreds somewhere. Do you remember when this was? This is basically a few weeks after he got out, on house arrest or something like that. Was the conversation with just you and Man? Yes. What did you talk to him about? Basically, we was talking, about, I was asking him what's going on with this case and stuff like that. He was like, no, nothing. He good and stuff like that. And you said you were filling him out. What does that mean? Basically, I'm trying to read his body language, see if basically trying to talk to him to see if he showing any signs of weakness or anything like that. If he could be cooperating with the police or anything like that. And what, if anything, were you going to do with that information that you got from him? I was going to take it back and let them know what I thought was he telling or not. And when you say them, who are you taking the information back to? The Goonies, because Romeo called while he was locked up, and he said, yeah, I need to get up with Shorty. And I'm like, who? He Shorty who got locked up with him. Judge, could we have some foundation for this conversation? Sustain. Lay a foundation for this other conversation. Sure. You're talking about a conversation that you had with Romeo Blackman, is that right? Yes. Where were you when the conversation took place? I was at my brother's house. Was it face to face or over the phone? Over the phone. Were you on speakerphone or did you have the phone to your ear? I believe the phone was to my ear. Do you recall when it was that you had this conversation with him? No, I just know he was locked up. Was it prior to you going to talk to Man that we just spoke about? It was before I went and talked to Man. Okay. Now, this conversation you said you had a conversation about, was Man snitching? Correct. Okay. And then that's when you went to go fill him out? Correct. Okay. Now you said you were going to take the information back, and the question was, who were you going to give the information back to? So who were you going to take the information back to? Basically the Goonies. Did you take the information back to the Goonies about Man? Yes. And what is it that you told them? I told them, I'm like, I don't think he's telling. I don't think he said nothing. After you gave that information, at some point, did you find out that Man had been shot? Yes. After I gave them the information, T was still heated because T was like, y'all don't know because y'all ain't the ones who did it. I'm the one. Objection. I'm the one who did it. I'm the one. Sustained foundation. Sure. The conversation that you had with T, was this after you spoke to Man in the hundreds, after he got on house arrest? Yes. Was this conversation in person or over the phone? Person. Were you the only one there? Was anyone else present with you and T? I can't recall at the time. Do you recall where you were? I think we was on Aberdeen. And was Aberdeen, were you in a house or were you outside? Outside. Was Aberdeen one of the areas that Goonies controlled? Yes. Aberdeen and what cross street? Between 70th and 71st. Okay. And this is the conversation that was outside? Yes. And you said what did you and T talk about? You say what was we talking about? Yes, sir. Basically, I was telling him, like, I don't think Man telling. And basically, he was telling me, like, well, y'all just could be saying anything because y'all ain't the ones who did it. He got caught with the murder weapon that I killed somebody with. Did you eventually find out that Man was shot? Yes. After that, did you have any other conversations with T? Yes. How many about Man being shot? Yes, I did have a conversation about him shooting Man. When was this conversation? Can you wait? Can you say that one more time? Sure. All right. We've got to keep your voice up. Pose a question. When did you have that conversation with T about Man being shot? After Man was shot. This conversation, do you know where it happened? I can't say exactly where it happened. Were you alone or were you with someone else when the conversation took place? I think it was me and T. Was it a face-to-face conversation? Yes. What, if anything, did T tell you? Well, Judge, objection. The foundation has not been laid for this conversation. Let me see you at sidebar.